No community has made better use of the perilous freedoms of the internet than furries, but horror is a close second. Just take a look at Channel Zero for starters, a TV series based on adaptations of the creepiest stories drawn from the internet's murky depths. And pages like the No Sleep subreddit are prime examples of how the internet cultivates the best terrors together, allowing amateur writers to flex their creative muscles and bring about terrifying viral sensations in the process, ripe for translating to screen. I am Slender Ash from What Culture Horror, and these are 9 internet horror stories that should be movies. 9. What the f is going on in PINAL County, Arizona? First appearing as a post on the No Sleep subreddit in November 2014 from Throw Far Far Away AZ, this creepy case is written from the perspective of a local resident from Mammoth in Arizona. The author explains how a mysterious virus has been running rife in the town, first causing an old woman to drop down dead with blood pouring out her eyes, before moving on to children and even babies. According to the story, the virus continues to run riot, and becomes so devastating that bodies begin piling up on the sides of the roads. The authorities impose strict rules on people being allowed in or out of the town, and according to the tale, do a great job in keeping it from going public. Obviously, it makes for a creepy scene, but the true extent in which this tale grips people can really be witnessed in what has happened since. Almost overnight after posting, Mammoth's offices, businesses, and residents were flooded with hundreds of calls from people all around the world, asking about the supposed outbreak and piles of corpses littering this small town's streets. 8. Correspondence. Recent horror movies have capitalized on social media as a fresh new way of doubling down on scares, but Correspondence is the OG. User Bloodstains tells this story via an email chain between 2 old friends, Sean and Ross, with things starting out relatively normal as the 2 men exchange pleasantries, and Sean explains how he's going to go to a party one evening. However, things begin to take a strange turn. Lost on their way home, Sean and his girlfriend Amanda end up asking for directions at a small house. Despite not getting an answer, they see an old woman standing by one of the windows staring back out at them. Later on, they find the same old woman standing in the middle of the road, waiting for them. Things soon spiral out of control for Sean, but it doesn't end there. Correspondence has been going since 2011 and continually posts snippets of conversation that reveal deeper and stranger happenings bubbling away under the surface. 7. Uncle Jerry's Family Fun Zone. It's safe to say that some things haven't aged too well over the course of human history, with the traditional fun fair on the outskirts of town perhaps being one of the better examples of something once considered fun and innocent turning unsettling. And The Mystery of Uncle Jerry's Family Fun Zone by Red Grin is one such example of this in action. The story is set around a couple of interviews with 2 local residents, Will and Caroline, recalling what they remember about the infamous Uncle Jerry's Family Fun Zone. A special fun fair that no one was ever able to track down, the legend is that Uncle Jerry lures the local children to his red slide, where they would all eventually end up disappearing. Describing the trauma that came with discovering the true nature of Uncle Jerry's Fun Zone and the horrors that lay within, this tale contains so many jarring twists and turns that it would be an absolute waste to not see it brought to life. 6. I'm a 911 operator, just had the most terrifying call. Phone calls to emergency services have been a staple in the world of horror for as long as anyone can remember, but they are still one of the most effective ways of setting up a creepy premise. It's this idea of a system designed to send help being completely powerless against whatever evil force the story pits them up against that really gets under our skin. Higgs Thunder posted a story of a strange and terrifying call to 911 back in 2015, about a man who had wandered into someone's garden. The story is told mainly from the perspective of the call operator who can do nothing except listen on, as the man goes from just standing and stumbling outside his house to doing a handstand, and then pressing his face up against the glass and revealing an unnerving smile. It is a truly weird image, and the story goes to great lengths to explain the strange expression and huge teeth possessed by the stranger. It's very similar to 2 AM The Smiling Man, which we already know works on screen from seeing the short film that was designed around it. A creepy-looking stranger doing a handstand and smiling maniacally really is an image that will keep audiences up at night, and one that could be fleshed into an incredibly sinister feature. 5. The Limping Woman. Right from the very first word, Pippinacious' No Sleep story on the limping woman is creepy and gripping. The story opens on the drag and click of her feet, and the explanation that is how someone can tell when she is following behind them. The limping woman is the local urban legend of the author's hometown, a tale filled with tragedy. A kind and beautiful teacher in her youth, the woman was followed home and had her leg snapped by a pursuer before being killed. The legend says that when someone is out walking alone on a dark night and they hear the dragging of the limping woman behind them, the last thing they should ever do is turn around and answer her pleas for help. Pippinacious' story of the limping woman follows two girls exploring the mystery of the local legend, eager to uncover whether or not there is any truth behind the tale. The chills, creepiness, and ultimately the horrific tragedy of the limping woman and her tale are developed in a terrific way in this subreddit classic. 4. Grandma's light is always on. There is something particularly creepy about the typical design of an old woman's home in the world of horror. The emptiness, the dusty shelves, the outdated furniture covered in sickly plastic sheets all combine to create a seriously eerie setting. And it is this trope that Saint's No Sleep story makes stunning use of. The main character opens up the story by explaining that their grandma used to own a distinctive lamp in her house that was always on. She keeps this lamp beautifully maintained, changing the bulb every week, and is particularly horrified when the author turns it off one day. Explained as being a ghost light, the story dabbles in old-world superstitions of ghosts that remain in a location long after death. Franchises such as Paranormal Activity, Insidious, and The Conjuring have shown just how lasting modern ghost tales can be. And Grandma's Light is Always On could make for a fresh new addition to this excellent lineup. 3. The Quiet Neighbor. But Fillmore is quite possibly the kind of neighbour that nightmares are made of. Pippinacious' story explains how Fillmore, despite only being in the area for some time, has already carved out a seriously infamous reputation. One resident says they've seen him screeching at children in the past, whilst another is certain he tried to run one down in his car. The story kicks off with the author, Liz, and her brother tossing around a baseball in their garden until it lands in Fillmore's next door. It's an opening to a typical Disney film rather than a horror story. But things soon take a strange turn when rumours about Fillmore's wife start to swirl around the town. According to certain residents, the wife can sometimes be seen standing as a silhouette in one of the house's windows, motionless, watching the world outside. It's definitely a creepy, unsettling image on its own, but the tale of Mr. and Mrs. Fillmore is one of the most jarring and suspenseful on the internet right now, and it would be great seeing this strange story taken onto the big screen. 2. Jeff the Killer. Anyone who has had any sort of interaction online in recent years will have run into the ghastly face of Jeff the Killer at least once. This monster comes complete with burnt eyebrows, a pair of hollow eyes, and a bloodthirsty smile carved into his face, and pops up in some of the darkest reaches of the internet. He is also a cold-blooded sociopath, as the name probably suggests. Jeff's origins lie deep in the annals of creepypasta history, and is born from a story supposedly based on true events. A troubled teen during his youthful days, Jeff's fragile mental state snaps, and eventually leads him to giving in to his homicidal tendencies. One of the most startling creepypastas on the internet for its use of pictures, not only does Jeff the Killer score big in the scares, but his popularity online has led to plenty of background stories and further lore expanding on this sadistic character. From changing appearances, new and more brutal ways of killing, to even a showdown with the Slender Man himself, the opportunities for a big studio are endless. 1. Have you seen this man? In comparison to what it is today, the internet of the mid-2000s was far less refined and fact-checked, meaning wild conspiracy theories could run absolutely rife with its users. Arguably the biggest of these conspiracies was Have you seen this man? That ran rampant from 2008. In New York City, a patient at a psychiatric hospital drew a picture of a man who had been supposedly visiting her in her dreams. Within a couple of weeks, the picture had gone viral and was followed by over 2,000 people from all around the world coming forward and saying that they too had seen this man in their dreams. Though the face and also the website it appeared on would eventually be debunked and announced as a hoax, the level of hysteria this one image caused was unlike anything else that had come before. Even today, there's just something uniquely disturbing about the way the man looks that some people swear down they have seen him before. Apparently, the man's face is specially designed to look like all things humans find disturbing, and unlock some of the specific memories they might have buried. Either way, there are endless opportunities to put this man on the big screen and capitalize on his eerily familiar weirdness. Have you seen this man? And that's our list. What other online horror stories belong on the big screen? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I've been Ash over on social media at Ash Millman, and this has been What Culture. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and come back again soon for some more spine-tingling horror content. Thanks for watching.